You know, I've been a Mustang enthusiast pretty much my whole life. I was one of those kids when I was 14 years old, or 13 and a half actually. Had my nose pressed against the dealership waiting for the introduction of the new Mustang. The Mustang was introduced on April 17th, 1964. And I ran down to the dealership and they had all the, all the windows covered, and you came in, they gave you a hot dog and a donut, and you got to look at the new Mustang. I think the one they had was a 6-cylinder, but we didn't care. It was a Mustang. How cool was that? Welcome to another episode of Jay Leno's Garage. It's Mustang Day here at the garage. You know, I grew up in that whole Ford Total Performance era of the 60s, the mid-60s. Before I had my license, I followed Ford at Le Mans and drag racing, and of course the Mustang and the Comet's 100,000 miles at 100 miles an hour. That was a big song, and they show them going around a track for 100,000 miles straight. And it was just a wonderful time if you were a Ford enthusiast. And I think it's safe to say that those times are coming back. These are some incredible new Mustangs. This is the new Shelby Mustang, 200-mile-an-hour Mustang. I never thought I'd see that in my lifetime. So let's meet the gentleman responsible for this. He's the chief engineer of SVT. That's his special vehicle team. Yeah, that's what it is. Jamal Hamidi. Jamal, come on in. How you doing?
Hi, Jay. How are you?
Good to see you. Good to see you. So how did you get hooked up with Ford? Tell me about that.
Well, I've been kind of a car freak ever since I was a kid. And, I was the guy playing with Matchbox cars,
right.
Probably older than I should have been.
Yeah, that's how it works.
And so went to school, became an engineer, and first job out of school was Ford.
Oh, that's great. Well, I mean, it's for a while there, Ford was kind of on the ropes, and the SVT kind of went away for a while, or kind of went underground. John Coletti was very much involved with it. He was here recently, and I was a big fan of his. And it's good to see it's coming back with a vengeance, because I never thought I'd see a 200-mile-per-hour Mustang. It didn't even seem like something that would be possible. And also, you have the Boss 302. And for those of us of a certain age, that's an iconic automobile. The Trans Am and all that.
Absolutely.
And I'm not sure which one I like better. I don't know how often I actually go 200 miles an hour, so I don't know which one is the more fun to drive. But let's start with, I guess, the smaller of the two, and we'll work our way up. And we're going to drive this today, and I'm told I'll be the first civilian to drive this one. But let's go over the 302. Tell us about this car.
Well, this is a recreation, like you said, of the famous 69 and 70 Boss 302, and this car really cut its teeth on the road racing circuit, and today that's what it is. It's really our track machine and our track carver, and it's so well balanced. It's so easy to drive. It's got a 5-liter high output, normally aspirated engine. If you're gonna go pound around a track, right, this is the machine to have.
And the 5-liter is kind of iconic to Ford Mustang, as this is. This is basically a 5-liter. This is my 65 car number 120 GT350. I love driving this car, and when this car came out, the regular high-performance Mustang had 271 horsepower. This had 306. Oh my God, 306 horsepower. Well, Ford's getting that now with the little V6.
With the V6.
Without even trying. But it's still very exciting to drive. And what's the horsepower on this?
This is 444.
Okay, horsepower. 444 horsepower from a 302. I mean, they weren't even getting that on the track. Well, I guess they were getting close to that on the track back in the day. But that it's actually a street car. And I don't know which one I like better. I kind of like the 302. That's a lot of horsepower.
It is, yeah. And really, I mean, that's, it's a car that is still a lot of fun to drive on the street, too.
And it is what, a 6-speed?
It's a 6-speed manual.
Manual, Tremec,
it's got Recaro seats in it.
Right.
I mean, it's everything you need.
Now, the Laguna Seca model, that's basically a 302 as well, isn't it? Is that
it's the Boss 302 turned up a notch. It's got special tuning and special aerodynamics.
And it's only 2 seats.
And it's got a rear seat delete, so it's a 2-seater, yeah.
And what brakes does it have?
It's got Brembo 4-piston calipers and rotors.
Steel rotors, right?
Steel rotors,
right. Okay. And let's go over here to the Shelby, of course, named for Carroll Shelby. And this is the first 200-mile-per-hour Mustang. That's pretty amazing.
That is really.
And what is the horsepower on this?
Well, actually, we just certified the car to SAE numbers, and so We came in at 662 horsepower.
Wow.
And 631 foot-pounds of torque.
Wow. Well, that's
awesome.
Wow, that's a lot of torque. And what does this weigh compared to that?
This is about a 3850.
Okay. And what is the weight distribution for this with the smaller engine?
That's about a 54% front weight distribution.
Okay.
This is about a 56% weight distribution.
All right. So you're a little heavier here, obviously. And what's the liter capacity of this motor?
This is now a 5.8 liter
5.8
four-valve supercharged engine.
Okay.
So this block is actually kind of an evolution of the Ford GT engine. So that's an aluminum 5.4. And then what we've done is we've got this, we don't have steel liners in this aluminum block.
Oh, no?
We've got the plasma spray coating.
Like a Nicocel?
It's like a Nicocel, much more durable, completely different technology. And it's actually kind of found its roots in aerospace.
Yeah. See, I never thought I'd see the day when I would buy my Ford GT, then a couple of years later, the Mustang would have more horsepower than my Ford GT.
I mean, that's a sign of the times.
That's progress. That's good. Can we open the hood on this one?
Sure, absolutely.
Let's take a look. Now, you pointed out something to me. Look, there's no grill.
Yeah, we basically just deleted anything that would inhibit cooling on this engine.
Right.
And so we've got a 5.8 liter supercharged V8 four-valve head, all aluminum.
Now, this almost looks like an aftermarket K&N unit.
Yeah, it's a cold air intake,
Yeah.
and we introduced that in 2010, and that's been feeding every engine since then.
Is the interior different from the 302? Basically, same dash and everything, correct?
Yeah, there's
Few
some
things,
minor finish panel differences.
Right.
There's some more luxury items like navigation systems that you can get on this
Right.
one. But the Recaro seats are leather instead of cloth and things like that. But
Yeah. And these go for about, what, 54?
yeah, they start at 54.2,
Okay.
which is a hell of a bargain.
It is. It seems like such a crazy amount of money, but when you look at what else is out there, especially in the European field, you've got to go way over $150,000 to
Sure.
get this kind of horsepower. And if you haven't driven a Mustang in a long time, they're really good. These are classic American sports cars. They don't share anything with European cars. They do the same thing. You know, it's funny because that's a 289. In Europe, they call that a big block.
Sure.
To us, it's a small block. You know, so I mean, they just don't have this kind of engine capacity over there, and especially good old-fashioned American torque. 600 and some odd foot-pounds of torque. That's pretty amazing. Well, it's probably time to take these for a ride. Goes pretty good. Well, a very torquey motor, very easy to drive in traffic. And boy, just a great exhaust note. They've really got that perfect. I don't think I would want it much louder than this. If I was in the aftermarket exhaust business, I'd be worried because there's no reason to change it. It's just nice. It's amazing with the current noise regulations. By making the engine quieter, you can actually have the exhaust breathe a little better, don't you?
Yeah, and you hear the exhaust more.
Yeah.
And the road noise you don't hear, wind noise.
Because in the old days, you know, when they started those rules about how much noise a car can make, it's how much it can make total, not just the exhaust. So if you quiet the engine down, you can actually free up the exhaust a little bit. How many decibels is it? Do you know offhand? What the rule is?
The legal requirement is 80 decibels.
80 decibels, okay. You know, it's amazing how much of this car is almost like boutique manufacturing. You've got your Recaro seats, you've got your Brembo brakes, you've got your Tremec gearbox. Very nice shift linkage. Did you guys do something different here?
Yes, we did a lot of work on the shifter for the 2013.
Because I've driven some cars that have the Tremec box, and it's a wonderful gearbox, but it's notchy. This actually shifts very nicely. My favorite thing about this car, there's no automatic gearbox available. You have to buy the stick. Thank you, Ford. Boy, it's a nice car. Well, you get a lot of trouble real quickly with this. It's amazing. There's no gas guzzler attack with this car. You know, a big engine, hardly working, is more efficient than a little engine screaming its head off. And what am I doing here? Let's see. It's 60 miles an hour in this gear. I'm turning at about 1,200 RPM. Let's take it up on the freeway, see how she goes. Okay, at 80 miles an hour, I'm turning about 1,500 RPM. So you see where the 24 miles per gallon comes from. You know, Mustang has always been the greatest compromise between a practical car and a performance car. You got 4 seats. You can convince the wife it's a sensible car. It's a Mustang. Yes, it's as fast as anything out there. I'm a little annoyed that it's faster than my Ford GT. But boy, this is just a nice car to drive, very solid, good visibility. You know, I've driven some modern cars where the windows seem a little too short and the roof's a little low. This has got plenty of room. There's no sunroof, right?
You can get a glass roof.
Yeah, nah.
You got plenty of sun in California.
Plenty of sun. You know, this is a terrible road. I'm deliberately in this lane because it's so beat up, and yet I'm not getting any cowl shake. You know, it'd be fun to take this car to the Autobahn because most of your big BMWs and Mercedes, they're limited to 155. How much fun would that be to blow past those cars in a Mustang? The one thing you never want to do is underestimate the immaturity factor. Will it do a burnout? That's pretty good. There you go. Do that one for Alan. Now that's what I call racing stripes. See you next week. Jamal, thank you, my friend.
Thanks, Jay.
Thanks for building a great car.
It's been awesome.